Somebody told me a long time ago that guilt is when you feel like I did something wrong, and shame is when you feel like I am something wrong. And, I'll talk about the context that I've been creating for myself. Context is a big portion of holding all of the emotions, but I want to at least state like the basics about shame is that I believe that shame was a necessary tool for humans to live in bigger congregations. When we moved out of tribal cultures into cities, we didn't have interpersonal relationships to keep everybody in line or keep things safe or functioning properly. So we kind of needed to awaken to cultural norms of what was and was not okay. And so this was a necessary tool. And it's innocent, like every emotion. Every emotion is innocent, and every emotion gets to be part of the whole. Like, there is no right or wrong when it comes to feelings. And so really holding the innocence of shame is important when we're working with it for ourselves or other people. And like all emotions, shame is a pattern of a couple different things. Neurological connections, there are patterns in the neurons when we are experiencing shame. Chemical patterns, which are like hormones, the secretion from different glands in our body. It Our experience signals these glands to produce certain amounts of certain kinds of hormones. So shame is a chemical pattern in the body as well. And also it's a physiological response in the body too. So that means that it's going to express as certain postures, facial expressions, ways of breathing, heart rate, sweat glands. So, like the conscious things and the more unconscious expressions of the body, these are all going to be associated with shame. And it's almost like you could say that every one of these pieces, the neurological connections, the chemical patterns, the physiological responses, are all creating the experience of shame, and they're all just expressing the experience of shame. So both the yin and the yang, it's coming in and it's coming out through these channels. And there are triggers that we have from childhood, from adolescence, from even our recent history that cause these patterns to activate in that way. And that means, like many things, shame can be the result of trauma. And really simply put, I've said this kind of before, but trauma is a lived experience in the past that the body is reacting to now. I like to think of trauma as a time disorder. So maybe I'm getting triggered into shame, not necessarily because this moment is so intense, but because I had a moment in my past that reminded me of this moment, and my body is reacting as though that moment is still happening.